Hello everyone, welcome back to Slaypril. This is Slaypril 2025. In memoriam and beyond, we're going to focus a little bit on remembering past Slayprils if you've done it before, but also focusing on the future of this Slaypril and also doing a bit of introduction for people who are not familiar with it. First of all, I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering, what the hell is Slaypril? Very fair thought. There's been a lot of talk about it, and not everyone has a background. So basically, it's a month-long activity, i.e. slaying April, focus on increasing quality of life, introducing positive behaviors, setting goals, and obtaining reinforcement. And we're going to go into each one of those things kind of more in depth. But yeah, that's the general. When we think, what is Slaypril, this is what we're looking at. And then, of course, having a Slay month. So a little bit of history. This is my friend Nicole Close and me, her freshman year, my sophomore year, in March 28th, 2022. We were basically in the trenches, the depths of the depths. We were very depressed. It's dark. We were behind in school, not eating right, not drinking enough water, not taking our pills, and just not taking care of ourselves. And so we were in the pits of March, colloquially known as, in the community as Slarch. Everyone knows who's done it before. March is the worst month, so we call it Slarch. That way you can refer to something as a Slarch. Oh, I'm having a terrible moment. It's really, Slarch is slarching right now. My ex showing up in my house was such a Slarch. It's kind of like, it's a reference to the horrors of March. It started 1 March 2022 and it's been going ever since. And so I'm very excited. We have so many new people very interested in learning about it, but also people who are continually doing it every year. So obviously the next question is how to Slaypril. Essentially, each participant must engage in one Slay activity each day for the month of April. What makes a Slay activity? It's a great question. Essentially, any activity that impacts an individual's life in a positive way. So the big thing here is that we're focusing on us and we're focusing on that positive thing. Working, school, things that have demands on your time that are like, you're going to do them anyways. Those don't really count, as we're kind of looking for things that are like kind of extras that improve your life. Instead of like, oh, I went to my job today, and it's like, well, yeah, but if you didn't go, you'd be fired, so you're probably going to do that anyways regardless. Kind of focus on those positive impacts. Something specifically that's not Slay is any eating disorder related restriction behaviors and goals. Slaypril is not the month to starve yourself to get skinny. That's just not, generally stay away from dietary stuff besides just being like, I want to eat healthy so I can feel good. But really be careful around that. Like anything that's like, I'm not going to eat any sugar for the month of April. And it's like, okay, yeah, but also like sometimes you just need a treat. And that's what Slay is, if it makes you feel good. So stay away from that kind of stuff. That doesn't really count as Slaypril. So most important thing that I want to stress really hard and try to like remember most poignantly is that Slaypril is not what happens, it's how we handle it. So Winter Grasso, my dear friend and new to Slaypril, actually identified this and said it this way. This is the most important part. Bad things are not going to stop happening just because it's April. That's just not how it works. If I could guarantee that nothing bad would happen to us during April, I would love to have it that way. However, that's just not the case. And the commitment of Slaypril is that it's not that bad things are going to stop happening. It's that we are going to, in the face of bad things, continue to treat ourselves with the respect and care that we deserve. For instance, I had a really bad day at work on Friday and I was so pissed off and I was so mad, but I decided for Slaypril, even though I'm pissed off and I had a terrible day, I'm gonna take a shower before I eat and before I go to bed, because I know that I need to take a shower. I was just at work all day. I will feel better, and you know what? Everything sucked, but a shower is gonna make me feel better, and it's gonna make me enjoy my food more and to take time to enjoy my food, not just like come home and like just completely blank out and just eat it because I have to, and then like crash in bed with my makeup still on because I had a bad day. I had a bad day, but I'm going to treat myself the way that I deserve, which is to be clean. And so that's an example of kind of using Slaypril to be like, yeah, I had a terrible day at work. Not that slay, but you know what? I'm going to take a shower in the face of that and feel a little bit better because it's April and we're making that commitment to go a little bit of the extra mile to treat ourselves the way we deserve. So this was for the in-person event, but I'm still going to kind of like reflect on these things. For the elders of Slaypril, discuss past slays. What are some activities you've engaged in to honor the commitment to slay? For new people, what is the behavior that comes to mind when you think of slay? Past activities I've engaged in is brushing teeth. That's like one of the number one. Drinking enough water and keeping my space clean, I think, are some stuff that's very important for me to kind of like feel better. Showering too, obviously, bonus. Buying groceries, some other things like that. Some new behaviors people were kind of tossing around tonight was calling family back on the phone, making time for family, that kind of thing. We had a lot of themes of making time for food and feeding ourselves correctly, having balance in work, doing our work, but making sure we're taking time for ourselves. So I would kind of like take a moment now and kind of reflect, like when you think of slay, like what are we thinking of? What are things coming to mind? And then, okay, so this is our first group activity. We're going to say goodbye to Slarch. So as I've already mentioned, Slarch is the month of March. I want you to really think about things that you associate with this last month. So some things that have really impacted you negatively, if that's your boss being shitty, if that's the fact you didn't drink enough water. That was my thing, was that I got super dehydrated, and then that made me feel really terrible and I couldn't shit for like 3 weeks. Sorry for the TMI, but that's the facts. So that's bad. That's something that is Slarch. Just not buying groceries. I did not make time for groceries. I did not eat well at all like this month. My car was constantly running out of gas. This activity, get a piece of paper, get a pen or a pencil or a colorful marker or something like that. But I'm going to have you pause the video to work on this. And then I just want you to write on that piece of paper, just big and messy. You don't need to think about, making a nice list or anything. Just kind of write those things that you associate with Slarch, things that you want to leave behind, not feeding yourself, your car running out of gas. For me, not taking my medication. Take a pause the video, and write down some of those things, and then we'll reflect when you come back. Take your Slarch paper, think about all those things, and then think about letting them go. And we're not taking that into Slaypril, and I want you to just rip it up. Do it as violently as you would like. I wish we could safely recommend burning, but ripping is cathartic. We had a huge pile of ripped up stuff at the end. Just rip that up and kind of think about how like we're letting those things go and we're going to leave those in Slarch. Principles of Slaypril kind of outlined. We have the self, so that's one of the most important things, is that we're focusing on behavior that's meaningful to you as a person. Not your boss, not your professors. It's not about what other people want from you. It's about things that are important to you, the individual. Next thing is intention. So a big part of Slaypril is intention. It's why I made a huge deal about it and made a whole event for it. And it's why we are going to do these activities, because making the commitment to Slaypril by keeping our intentions at the forefront of action. So we are committing to Slaypril to make sure that our intentions for Slaypril kind of stay at the forefront of what we're doing. Every day you think about it. What is the intention of Slaypril? What am I trying to get out of this? And also, what is my intention for each day as problems arise and, we have to tackle things that are less than savory? How can we intentionally take each and remember, how do we slay it? Support, give it and get it. That's one of the biggest parts of Slaypril, is that we're not supposed to do Slaypril alone. Big part of that is giving support to people who are doing it and also getting it. We make it a whole thing, because you need support to be able to do it, to be able to keep focusing on yourself. You need support in that, because we're so conditioned to focus on everything else and other people and what they want from us. We need that support. to keep yourself centered. Of course, community, strength in numbers, that's goes hand in hand with the support aspect, that without the support of our community, you just couldn't do it. It just wouldn't be the same. And we'll go into the specifics of the community and that later. But defining Slaycess. So this is talking about what is success in Slaypril and, kind of what that looks like, but also we're going to talk about like how to get there. Obviously, it's going to be unique to every person. It focuses a lot on feeling, staying compassionate. So remembering that like maybe for Slaypril, you wanted to clean your room and brush your teeth, take a shower, put in your laundry, finish your laundry, but you get to the end of the day, you had a hard day and you're like, man, like I can't do all that. Hey, just drink water. That's all you have to do. You only have to do one Slay activity a day. So just drink the water and be compassionate with yourself, and that's success right there. Being mindful, taking time. That's another part of the intention thing that's kind of mentioned, is like being mindful of yourself and time and what's happening, and hey, it's okay. Things are going to be fine. So this is another activity that I'm going to have you do. You're going to need another piece of paper and that pen again. And I'm going to have you draw a picture of yourself after Slaypril. Are you going to be smiling? What will you look like? What will be around you? What are some ways that you can kind of like visualize what success will look for you after Slaypril? So for me, I drew myself with a lot of groceries around me. I drew myself with big shiny teeth because they will be so clean. I'll put up a few pictures that people have done, kind of how they have visualized their post Slaypril self. Just kind of like focus on like what do I kind of want to have at the end of Slaypril? Where do I want to be? Pause the video, work on that as long as you need, and then kind of come back. So I'm assuming you're coming back from doing your activity. You have this adorable little picture of yourself. I would love for you to send it. Show me if you're completing this online. Show me what you did. Send a picture of your person. Maybe identify some of the things about it that you're, what is it that makes it a post-Slaypril self? And I would love to see that. We're visualizing our successful self, but how are we going to get there? A lot of you who have known me a long time, and probably a term that you've heard, but it plays a very integral role to successful behavior change. Reinforcement ties in specifically with the two central tenets, self and community. Both are rooted in the empirically supported concept of reinforcement. It's science and it works. Reinforcement is basic reward. Like, what do we get out of things that make us want to do those things more? Or reinforcement is events or stimuli that increase the likelihood of a behavior happening again in the future. Going to work, getting a paycheck. That paycheck is going to be reinforcement for the behavior of you going to work. Going to the store and buying candy, getting that candy is going to reinforce the behavior of going to the store. A basic reward system kind of like is the general. As far as you need to know for this, that's basically what we're working with. Relevant to Slaypril, we have like naturally reinforcing things. So that's going to be things that naturally kind of have something positive. I hate taking showers, but I also love taking showers because I love how I feel afterwards. So it's kind of like a naturally reinforcing thing. So you want to focus on behaviors that can kind of contact those naturally reinforcing things. So things that physically make you feel better. Socially mediated reinforcement, that's that community aspect of Slaypril that's so important, is like we are using our friends and having people to give us reinforcement for things that maybe have longer term reinforcement. Like if you're trying to quit vaping or something like that, like obviously that's not going to feel good immediately. But that's where the community comes in, because that's going to support you and give you that reinforcement for continuing trying to stop something that isn't going to feel good quite yet. Key components, choosing meaningful behaviors, just talked about, and utilizing the community is going to be that social reinforcement. And then, of course, outlining intentions. So first I'm going to talk about utilizing the community, and we've talked about it, but I want to go more into depth. Partner in Slay is a big part of that. As Mark Twain famously said, Slaypril was never meant to be done alone. How can you argue with him? So, Partner in Slay, or PIS, there is the POCA framework, which helps us remember our role as a PIS to our peers and to the Slaypril community. So first part of that is pick a partner. Friend, coworker, depressed boyfriend, girlfriend, doesn't matter, but pick a partner. you will not be able to do this without a partner in Slay. So pick a partner who's going to be your first one and plan to communicate often. So call once a day, end of the day. Hey, what'd you do for Slaypril today? Hey, I haven't done my Slaypril thing yet, but I'm not feeling very motivated. Anything. Establish check-ins and then shared goals. So with your PIS, I would recommend after this meeting with them, maybe doing some of the activities together. Use the community. Anyone participating in Slaypril is there to support and reinforce. Hey, my partner's busy today. My partner's on a work trip, whatever. I'm not feeling very motivated to get up and drink water today. I need someone to tell me to go drink water. Or, hey, like, today was really difficult, but when I got home, I took a shower. And then, allow that community to kind of support you in those things when, maybe your partner in Slay is not able to, not available. And just, it's good to stay connected to the wider community. And then that's that encourage always part that goes with the communicate often. Outlining those shared goals allows us to deliver reinforcement whenever possible and identify those areas where reinforcement is needed. My partner in Slay is Hannah. So Hannah and I'll give her a call tomorrow and I'll be like, hey, like, let's talk Slaypril. What are you going to be working on? What am I going to be working on? That way, if I know what she's working on, I'm going to allow you to be able to identify where people are needing reinforcement, but also allow them to identify in you where you're going to need reinforcement and reminding. I have this really stupid meme that I made while procrastinating, so enjoy it. So back to the obtaining success, we talked about utilizing community. And then the last part is going to be outlining intentions, setting Slaytentions. That's going to be back to that intention part. So you begin this month with intention, but also daily. So use the power of words. Recall that slaying is a choice and intentions keep us centered and motivated. Try as much as you can every day to kind of like start that day with like, what are my intentions? If you journal, this is a great time to like start your journaling with like, what are my intentions for the day? Keeps you motivated, but also helps you to keep remembering, like coming back to like, what is the purpose of this month? What are our intentions for this month? And our intentions are to improve our lives and the care that we give to ourselves. So just kind of like starting every day, remember that and keep that like being intentional with your actions and the things that you do. Because it's easy in your busy life to forget to take care of yourself. So that's where that intention aspect comes in. Part of that's the way we speak to ourselves. We're going to be kind during Slaypril, and the way that we speak to ourselves heavily influences the way that we feel about things. So that's part of the intention. I will slay today versus I'm feeling so overwhelmed. I don't know if I want to do this. Task list. So breaking things down and also just having lots of lists help us like make that intention at the beginning of the week. Hey, these are the things I'm going to work on. When you're like, oh, what do I do today for Slaypril? It's at the forefront of your mind. I'm already thinking about that I need to take my pills. I'm already thinking about that I need to drink more water this week. How can I do that? Kind of like outlining those things, making lists really good where you can check them off. It's satisfying to check things off, whatever that takes. And also just breaking larger things down into smaller parts. So, for instance, one that we talked about tonight was like vaping, for instance, like instead of being like, oh, I'm going to stop vaping cold turkey. Hey, how about every morning I just try not to start the day. For the first hour of the day, I don't want to vape. It's a way to break things down so that it's easier to kind of like attack those things. For me, it was like instead of being like dishes pile up, either washing them or putting them directly in the dishwasher. But for now, I'm just going to work on not keeping them on the dining room table. And then journaling. A lot of people put journaling on things that they would like to do more of. We talked about if you journal already, use journaling to stay centered and motivated and keep those Slaytentions. And then using your peers, as we've already talked about, like use your partner in Slay and be like, hey, let's set our intentions for the day. Just use your resources to be able to like stay centered and motivated. So now this is kind of the final boss, group activity. So This is one of the most important parts, so definitely take plenty of time just to write down what you are wanting to do for Slaypril. Are you wanting to drink more water? Are you wanting to have a better work-life balance? Be specific about actions that you can take. So instead of, I would like a better work-life balance, try to be more specific so that it's a specific action you can take rather than like a wide concept that you're like, oh, I would like to do that, but how specifically are you going to do that? What are some ways that you can better your work-life balance, or whatever it is? So I'm going to have you go ahead and do that now. Pause the video and come back when you're done. So I'm assuming you have done it. I would love to see them. If you have it written out or typed out or whatever, feel free to send it to me. I would love to see it. Send it to your partner in Slay. Definitely be thinking about who your partner in Slay is. Definitely reach out to them and share these Slaytentions because that's the most important part. One thing I did, I put my list up in my bathroom where a lot of my Slay behaviors happened, self-care stuff in there. So I pasted it up in there just kind of as a prompt. Hang it up in your bedroom so you see it when you wake up. Put it as your home screen on your phone, whatever it takes. Put it somewhere where it can be useful to you, or transfer the task to somewhere that they can be useful to you and you can kind of come back to them. These are what you're going to work on. So I have an ongoing checklist, just making sure those are at the forefront of your mind so that when you have the opportunity to engage in one of those behaviors, your dad calls and you miss it. That's that kind of thinking first. Oh, one of my Slay things that I wanted to do this month was to call family back when they call me. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. It's keeping those things first so that you remember like your intentions for the month, and when you have those opportunities, that's your first course of action is, oh, this was something I was going to work on. Let me just do that because it's Slaypril. So is Slaypril empirically supported? Yes. And Slaypril models the functional approach to treatment of major depressive disorder, which I find very fascinating, but really cool and something I would like to explore more. Here are some of the terms. If you're in ABA in any way, I have a couple friends who are registered behavior technicians, so this is kind of like for them but also for me because I'm just like, I see this stuff. And for anyone who's interested in doing more research on what makes Slaypril effective, but and there's a whole lot more, but I haven't even got there. So Skinner says the Slay is valid and reliable. So with that, we'll have a little reflection. What has made, if you've done Slaypril before, like maybe write this out if you're completing this on your own, or if you're completing it with your partner in Slay, talk about it. What has made Slaypril important to you in the past? And then also just share some general thoughts about Slaypril if you're new. And take time for that, whatever it takes. You can go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so questions, comments, concerns, feel free to text me. Text the group chat. Okay, now I have a slide for it. So, we're going to have a big group chat. Everyone who has said that they wanted to participate in Slaypril is going to be a part of it, but we're going to do it on WhatsApp. That way we don't have issues between types of phones, but also it allowed me to make a kind of community. So I'm going to have you scan the QR code if you can and join the group. I'll be able to do announcements and other things. Like if you can't scan the QR code, text your number to me, even though I already have your number, just text. That'll be a little prompt and a reminder for me to copy paste and drop that in there to make sure you get added. Send your Slays and obtain reinforcement. So we talked a lot about how getting reinforcement from your community can be imperative to an effective Slaypril. So do what you need to do. I really am a big fan of taking time lapses, especially about cleaning, doing things like that, just kind of like recording, getting to send that. And this is our opportunity to support each other in a wider context. So everyone's names should show up in WhatsApp, but if for some reason no one's name is showing up, let me know and I'll get you names of everyone. I think it's important that no one feels like too overwhelmed, like, oh, there's all these strangers in this chat. We're all doing Slaypril, and it's very important. Feel free to send a little like introduction. Join the community. We'll get the group chat started, and then your partner in Slay, either go through the activities with them or do whatever you feel is necessary to get prepared and get on the same page about that. Let me know if you want to add someone to the group. And yeah, happy Slaypril, guys. It's going to be awesome. And remember, Slaypril is not what happens to you, it's how we handle it. So with that, enjoy. Happy Slaypril 2025. I love you guys. I will look forward to hearing from you in the group chat.